In other news, this weekend, workers in Portland started seeing an increase in their wages due to the city's ongoing state of emergency. This comes after voters approved an ordinance in 2020 that requires in-person employees to be paid 1.5 times the minimum wage during a declared emergency. As the city council prepares to discuss repealing that state of emergency, some in the state are fighting to keep it in place. News Center Maine's Sean Stackhouse reports.
Just one day after a new emergency wage went into effect,
What do we want?
Portlanders gathered outside City Hall to let their voices be heard.
We want it now!
Calling on the Portland City Council to not repeal the city's state of emergency.
We believe that we need to maintain hazard pay for people who are frontline workers in Portland.
Rally organizer and Maine Democratic Socialists of America Steering Committee member Leo Hilton and about 24 others rallied on Sunday to keep the $19.50 minimum wage in effect. On Monday, Portland City Council will vote on whether or not to repeal the city's state of emergency, which triggered hazard pay to go into effect.
We're worried that our city council is going to walk that back and repeal the emergency order that's been standing this entire pandemic.
At its meeting 2 weeks ago, the Portland City Council voted 6-3 to postpone action on repealing the state of emergency. Portland substitute teacher Samson Spatafor says it's essential to workers like them.
I absolutely think that hazard pay is necessary, especially for people who have been asked to work through the pandemic.
However, not all are in support. The Portland Chamber of Commerce writing in an email last week that it supports an ordinance like a mask mandate, but not the emergency order. Writing in part, this wage will undoubtedly place Portland small businesses at a disadvantage. Large chains will be able to absorb the added costs of a $19.50 minimum wage, but small businesses in Portland will not be able to absorb these costs without direct increases in prices or cuts to services and staff. This strikes directly at our local economic self-reliance and makes it just that much harder for local organizations to compete. But those at Portland City Hall Sunday think otherwise.
We're in an emergency. We're still in an emergency. As long as we're in an emergency, people deserve to be paid extra for the hazards they're putting themselves under.
In Portland, Sean Stackhouse, News Center, Maine.
Portland City Council meeting begins at 5 p.m. on Monday and will be held remotely. In addition to voting on the state of emergency, councilors will also discuss reinstating a mask mandate for the city. We'll have full coverage of that meeting tomorrow during our evening shows.